Duncanville, Texas. I actually like the Dallas area to visit.
Oh, I do too. I do too. I'm not that big of a fan of Houston actually.
Yeah, I understand. Trust me, I
I
understand.
It's just there's so much convenience at in Dallas that it's unreal. Like you can go to and there's a mall on every 2.5 miles.
Now, mind you, we're not that different. We're not that different. The area of town I live in on 1960 or in Houston is I have a mall right down the street.
Oh,
So they do have the areas like how y'all have Duncanville, Lancaster, and things like that. They have that out here like Spring, Klein, Tomball, Humble. We got different areas like that.
yeah. The traffic's the worst of it though.
Oh man, I don't even want to get started on that, bro. I
Yeah, that was my main concern the last time. It was crazy every day,
I mean,
every day.
they're really trying to make it better, but while making it better is affecting,
Slowing down right now. Yeah, I know.
yeah. I mean, think about it. We got
Yeah.
we got the widest freeway in the world, and it still be jam packed.
Mhm. Yep, you're right there.
I mean, so Texas is. I mean, Houston is just it just keeps growing. Eventually, Houston's gonna be right next door to San Antonio, and then the fact they're talking about now if they get this train that they're talking about doing for from Houston to
Houston to
Dallas,
Dallas.
man, that's gonna be huge.
Mhm.
That is gonna be huge
Yeah.
because that's gonna allow um more job opportunities.
Uh huh.
And it's only a 45-minute ride, man. Please.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so
That's
I guess the great thing about working at a hotel, especially a chain like that, I mean, you're not limited to where you can go if you want to, huh?
oh, I let me tell you a little something. I'm top 7% in all choice certifications in the world. So at 23 years of age, I could go anywhere.
Wow.
And I mean, I've already been an AGM, I've been a GM, I've been a director of sales, I've been a catering director, and I've been a food and beverage director. So there's literally the possibilities are endless.
Got you. Man, well, let me get my branch manager over here to check this out. But let me tell you, Jeremiah, I think I got some good news for you. All right.
Alrighty,
All right.
appreciate it.
Hold on one second. How you doing, Jeremiah? We're just looking at some stuff real quick.
No worries.
His wife. Do you have any 401k accounts, retirement, anything like that?
No, not currently.
Not currently. Okay. If necessary, would you be able to get a gift to help towards any down payment or closing costs?
Would I what?
Would you be able to get a gift from your family or employer if necessary? Okay, because you do qualify for the first-time home buyer tax credit. So it does.
I'm trying to figure out what you mean by a gift.
Gift means this. You can actually have your family or some jobs, some corporations actually a gift their employer, or as far as family. That is basically what you call down payment assistance. In case you needed some extra money outside of what we're offering, would you think you'd be able to get that?
I mean, how much money are you talking about though? That's the whole.
Well, we don't
That's
know
the whole
anything. We don't know the exact amount yet.
Right.
He's about to do some calculations. Let me know something. Okay, so you're eligible for up to 180,000.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So there's no zero down USDAs that are qualifying with what you see.
Well, based on what we see, no, you're not qualifying for the zero down.
Okay.
You want to know, does he qualify for the zero down? He doesn't qualify for the USDA zero down. Okay.
And how long after I paid those off would it take in order to qualify for the zero down then?
If you were to pay them off, all we would need is a letter from them saying that, from the actual company, a letterhead saying. Okay. Okay.
And how much is it per every 50,000 over the limit of the zero down? Would it be?
Okay. Got you. Okay. Okay. So what he's saying is this: if you went FHA, you wouldn't have to worry about paying off collections. Okay. So you would have to bring a little bit of money down.
Yeah.
But if you did USDA, what he's
But
saying is you
that
get
goes towards your overall down payment, actual house itself,
Mm-hmm.
compared to not having anything down on the house and getting a full 0% down.
But actually,
That's what you're saying, right?
yeah, but then you end up getting qualify for less house, if you get what I'm saying.
Right. Okay.
So with the
Yeah,
USDA zero
yeah,
down,
100 for 130,000 they can they can keep the house.
exactly. And so, like I said, I mean, it's possible. I mean, but like we said, I mean, it's just we're gonna work with you, and like I said, we got some good stuff on here.
Is there any way to get is there any way if we were able to come up with like to be able to be qualified for 180,000 at like 3,500 or 3,800 at the most?
Now, at that point, at 180K, the reason he said 5K is you have to have your down payment, you have to have some closing costs, there's a lot of different move-in fees. So that's why he wrote it all into one. And so if you came up with 3,800, you're basically, if you came with 3,800, you're right there. You still be looking at 150,000 on a house. Okay, hold on. Here go my manager right here, Angelo.
Hey, Jeremiah, this is Angelo Christian. I'm the manager. How are you, man?
Hey, doing well, Angelo. How are you?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Yes, sir. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, for some reason.
Okay, can you hear me?
All right. So what no problem. So what I was explaining, what Jason was telling you is, okay, you're eligible for two different options here. Okay. So with the zero down, you can do that, but with that government program, because it's no money down, they limit you to your to a certain amount with your debt to income ratio cannot exceed 41%. So with that, you can go up to about 135,000. But with that program, they're going to require that you pay off your collections, which is about 2,000 that you guys have in collections, according to what the credit report says. So so that's one way that we can go. The other option that you guys can go, and you do not have to pay off your collections, and it's also a first-time buyer program that you guys qualify for, is you can go up to a higher amount of 180,000, and you don't have to pay off the collections. But it does require that you have to put some money down, and you can use money that you have on hand, or you can get a gift from family or a combination. And basically the way that works is, let's just say that you're going to buy, a $160,000 home. It would require that you have in your bank account about $5,600, but you'd only have to put down about $4,000. So because it's first-time buyer tax credit.
Okay. And
yes, sir.
How much was it for? What was that price again that you were saying for the 4,000?
Yeah, so that was with the example of you buying a $160,000 home, but you guys are eligible to go up to 180,000 is what you can go up to, and I can if that works for you, we could pre-approve you with that.
But minimally, it'll take 5,000 down.
No, so okay, so let's say that we look at the example of 160, okay?
Yeah.
Just as an example, hypothetically. So they're going to want to see in your bank account that you have $5,600 in your bank account.
Okay.
Now, you're only going to put down 4,000, so you keep the other 2,600 in your account. I'm sorry, 1,600 in your account. So that money stays in your account, and you can do whatever you want with it after the loan closes. But you only have to put down 4,000.
Okay. But you have to at least show that you have
exactly,
5,600.
Exactly. You're right. Exactly. So you got it. So you guys are eligible for that, and so we can pre-approve you with that. The process, the way it works is, it does require that we verify your income. You'd send in your pay stubs and your W-2s, but we would give you a pre-approval letter and then connect you with our USDA-approved realtor. Then they would meet with you to help you to start shopping for a house to buy. And like I said, you can buy brand new, you could buy existing, you could buy a foreclosure. And then once you find the house that you want, you put an offer and contract on the home, and then we would process and close the loan for you, okay? So it takes about today we could issue you the pre-qualification certificate, and it takes about 30 days to do the closing. The realtor would contact you to set up a time to meet with you probably sometime by next week, and then start shopping for houses. And basically with this program, the closing costs are included. The only thing that you would pay for out of pocket is whenever you buy a home, you have to have an appraisal done to determine the value of the home, and the appraisal runs about $500. And then generally there's an inspection that it's not required; it's recommended that you get an inspection that basically checks for like the integrity of the home, like the electrical, the plumbing, the foundation. And those run about $300.
Right.
And so I encourage you to get
I have a guy that'll do that.
Okay.
That'll do it for me for free.
Okay, then you can use him. You can use whoever you want for the inspection, but the appraisal has to be done through the government. It's a government licensed appraiser. And so pretty much, I mean, from what I'm looking at your credit report, you guys are fine and ready to go. The next step in the process, we would need to get, like I said, your September or October pay stub sent into us and your 2015 tax return. And you could either fax that in or email that into us, and then we would issue you the award letter, and then you would take that. We would connect you with our agent to start shopping for a house. And then, like I said, once you found the house that you wanted, boom, you put the offer. Your offer is accepted. Then we start processing loan. You do the inspection. Then we do the appraisal. Then we do the underwriting. The closing's done locally there at the title company. We would just need to have, before you go under contract and put the offer on the home, we would have to have that, for the funds in your account. However you're going to do it, whether it's a gift from your family, whether you save it from your job, your approval letter is good for 3 months. So it's not like you have to buy a house tomorrow. If you can't find a home in 3 months, we can extend it for another 3 months for you. But at least you're pre-approved and you know what your options are. You're not locked into anything here. You can always change your mind. You're not paying to get pre-approved today, but at least you have that option.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I know $5,000 won't take too long. I think right now in our bank account, I think we have about $3,400 in the bank.
You guys are pretty much there then. If you got $3,400 in the account, then you're there.
Yeah, but I need $5,600 because I know my taste and I know my wife's taste, and we need anywhere between 165 to 180 to meet our needs.
Okay.
But on the other hand, I was going to ask you as well, from your knowledge and from what you've seen, what's the at-cost buying option on the foreclosures? Is it usually around 43% of cost?
For a foreclosure? I mean, typically...
Like, let's say foreclosure is estimated at $180,000 in value. Does it usually go on market for about $123 just to get out of the bank loan?
If it depends on where it's at in the foreclosure process, and if it goes up for auction, what we're seeing is that they typically are settling for about 70 cents on the dollar, is what we're seeing. And so on 180, people are scooping them up for about 130.
143.
Yeah, 130, 140, somewhere in there. So is what we're seeing. Are you looking at foreclosures?
Yeah, but I don't want the kind where I have to sit on the outside and I'm not allowed to look inside the house kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, I understand. And you can actually buy a foreclosure with this program, and you can also get up to $5,000 back for repairs too. So, with this product. And so that's a really cool thing. So if you find a home that needs a little bit of work, you can get money back up to $5,000 for renovations or repairs. So it just can't be anything structural or foundation. It can only be cosmetic.
Right. I hear you. Plaster needs to be done, or
something basic like that. But no, I mean, from what I'm seeing here, like I said, looking at the credit and everything, you guys are definitely eligible. And so, are you guys working with a realtor right now?
No, not currently.
Because the one thing I was mentioning earlier, we do have USDA-approved realtors in the area. And basically, the main reason to work with them is A, they're approved with us, and B, they already know the programs and the product. And because this is a government program that allows your closing costs to be included, they know that. So whenever they make the contract, they actually have the closing costs included. So that way you don't have to pay out of pocket for closing, because closing costs can be anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 on top of the down payment. And the way that we do our loans, you don't have to pay that on top of the down payment. It can be included in the loan. That's how these loan programs are designed. But a lot of realtors, they're either A, not aware of that, or they just do conventional bank loans, and then they'll have the buyer pay the closing costs on top of the down payment. You see?
Yeah.
So you definitely want to work.
I had one more question as well. With government grants and things of that nature when it comes to buying a home, is any of those already included in what you're talking about?
Yeah,
or
so that's one thing that Jason was...
There other options that you can see? I mean, I don't mind coming up with a 3.5%. It shouldn't be an issue, but I'm trying to have as much of a down payment on the sign-in part of it whenever I go to sign a contract where it says, hey, Jeremiah Sanders was able to come up with $16,000 due to the government assistance program or whatever the case is.
Exactly. So you do qualify for that. So that's what Jason was saying earlier, is that you qualify for the first-time buyer tax credit. That's through the state of Texas, and that's $2,000 a year for 5 years, so it's a total of $10,000. So you do qualify for that. That's why you have to only put your down payment as a reduction. It's not 3.5%. It's only 2.5%, but you'd have to close this year in order to realize that.
Oh, so it's 2.5% of whatever the house is.
Right, but that's what I was saying. So with a $2,000 a year tax credit, it's up to 5 years. You do qualify for that, but if you close next year, you're not going to be able to get that. It's only for this year because it's through the end of the year, through 12/31.
I'm trying to get into a house before Thanksgiving.
Okay. So you want to do it in the next 45 days.
Preferably within the next 2 months.
Okay, then you're on point then. I mean, if you do that, then you qualify for that then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks good. I mean, the next step here for us then is we can connect you with our agent to set up a time
good morning.
to meet with you, and then would you be able to get your income documents into us?
No, that wouldn't be an issue at all. I actually have my last 2 pay stubs from the quality in my desk, and I know I have at the house I have 2015 W-2.
Okay, perfect.
For the clearing on.
Okay.
That is. So you can see exactly where my pay is re-heading again over at this property again, because I just moved back over here.
Okay.
After I was here for 2.5 years, and then I went over to the quality, and then I went back over here again.
Okay, so when did you start there?
My first start date was January of 2013.
Okay. All right, so that's fine. So basically what we need, did you get an October pay stub yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
It'll be 2 weeks before I get that.
Okay, so what we need is your September pay stub, and
from
then
yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got both of my September ones up in my office now, so I can get those to you, and also get you the 2015 W-2 on my end.
Cool.
And then see if I can find my wife's as well.
Okay.
If not, I can always get you a copy of our W-4 whenever we filed our taxes together last year.
Okay, and then basically from here, you're going to get that in, and then Christina with Keller Williams is our realtor. She's going to give you a call, most likely today, just to set up a time to set you up with one of our local realtors. She's here in Houston, but she's going to set you up with a local Dallas realtor that's approved with us. It will most likely be someone on the Keller Williams team, so you'll probably be getting a call from them today just to let you know what's going to happen next, and then Jason's going to prepare the